back to the Spoilercast, the podcast where we talk about movies and we pretty much spoil all of it, or as much as we want to, because we're talking about movies that they've already premiered. I mean, they could be old movies like we did last week, where we did a 30-year-old movie, or like this week where we're doing a 2-3 week old movie, just 1 week here in Sweden, but yeah. And of course, my esteemed guest host, co-host, my sister, Rebecca.
Hi there.
And in this episode, we are going to talk about the new Alexandre Aja movie, Crawl.
Yes.
Yes. This was a movie. I don't know. My first impression was when I saw the trailer. I don't know, like a month back or something. And I was really excited for it because I like Alexandre Aja's movies. He made the Hills of Ice remake, and he did the Piranha 3D movie, which is surprisingly entertaining. He's done some other better movies as well, but I mean, and I really liked the trailer up until they kind of spoiled that the monster was an alligator.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, because they kind of kept it a secret for the first like minute and a half of the trailer, and then it's just, oh no, it's an alligator. I thought it was going to be something more creepy. I mean, still kind of creepy, but you know what
Creepier.
I mean. Yeah, something mysterious. But we decided to go see it anyway, because I don't know, it still looked good, and like I said, I like Alexandre Aja. What was your first impression of the movie?
Like you with the trailer, same thing. Kind of disappointed that they spoiled that it was alligators.
Yeah.
But the movie in general, quite good.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I didn't have much to complain about, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of gonna get into that, like how the movie actually was. If we're gonna focus on something, it's how it's structured. Yay, so much fun. Let's talk about structuring movies. But first, don't forget, this podcast is of course not sponsored by Monster, but if you want to sponsor us, we're here. If you're watching this, we love your drink, so just send us a couple of 6-packs and we'll be fine. But let's get on with the discussion of the movie. Let me just anyway. Right, because I've already made my proper review of the movie. I did it this Thursday. It's a link up here, and in it I call it a close to perfect movie. And I tried to like shortly explain that a perfect movie doesn't mean it's the best movie ever or something. That it's a big difference between a good movie and a perfect movie. Not just that one is perfect and one is just good. Because a movie that is perfect is one that can't be improved in any way.
Yeah.
I mean, on a structural level. It doesn't have to be a 10 out of 10. I mean, I wouldn't give Crawl 10 out of 10. I would give it like a solid 7, maybe an 8.
Yeah.
Because of the subject matter and some of the CGI. That's probably the one thing that doesn't make it perfect. Sometimes the alligators look a little fake. Sometimes they look great, but sometimes a little fake.
Yeah. And there were things in the scripts that could have been slightly altered or just removed, I guess.
Yes. But still, very, very close to perfect. And what I was going to say also, a perfect movie, to give an example of what a perfect movie is and what a good movie is, a perfect movie is Back to the Future. That you can't improve that movie in any way, whether it's with story, a structure, characters. It's perfect for what it is. Now, is it the best movie ever? No. It's a really, really, really good movie. It's one of my favorites of all time, but it's not one of the best of all time. It's maybe a bad example, because it's a movie that pretty much everyone loves. But you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's not. Yeah. It didn't win all the Oscars or anything like that. And a movie that everyone agrees, or pretty much everyone agrees, is good or really great is The Godfather. But The Godfather isn't a perfect movie. There are a bunch of weird choices when it comes to cinematography and directing and music and the script. So it's not perfect in that way. It's not technically perfect. Crawl was that. Almost perfect. Yes, almost perfect. But before we get in too much to that, like, what was your? I want to ask this because it's a horror movie. What was your favorite part of the movie? Because
ooh,
because I know what my favorite part was.
I don't really know, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
No, tell me yours, because I'm not sure.
My favorite part of the movie was all the horrific violence. But really the best part was watching that horrific violence, because there were scenes where you had to like turn away. It's like no,
one,
and that was so much fun.
One scene that just bothers me because I have a phobia. The spiders.
Oh, right,
it's just a phobia. It didn't bother me in that way. It wasn't horror. It was just, oh, spiders. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
The only scene that was, I gotta look away, that was the one where he had to reattach his leg.
Oh, yeah.
Or like push it back in.
Yeah, Barry Pepper's character, he had to splint his own leg with a flashlight and a belt.
And you were, this is the leg.
Yeah.
You were that close.
Yeah.
That close. To the actual
the bone
pipe
was just sticking out, and it was in gruesome detail. Yeah.
It was too close. Weird angle, too close. Trying to make it gritty, I guess.
Yeah, but that's kind of Aha's thing. The violence in his movies is very, very in your face and very gory.
But I'm not gonna. No other scenes were that gory. I mean, the gator attacks were just red water.
Well, they weren't. They weren't just red water. I mean, it's a lot of that. But I mean, the scene where it grabs a hold of her leg and you like see it almost rip apart, or when it like swallows her arm and she shoots it because she was holding a gun in her hand. It's maybe you don't see that much, but it just feels very violent. It's very violent and quick.
It's violent, bloody. But it's not gory.
Yeah. Well,
not to me.
When it bit off the father's arm, that's pretty gory.
Okay,
that was pretty gory. Yeah, and when you see
but it wasn't the same kind of close up as when he pushed the bone back in.
No. That one was, of course, that was the worst.
So
one.
that was kind of sticking out as extra gory, while the others was simply just pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can see the gator shaking about a living human, trying to kill it, doing that barrel roll thing that gators do.
The death roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrible, but it wasn't as visually gory, since you mostly saw a human and a gator spinning around. You didn't see flesh or bones and it was red water.
Yeah, well, I thought even if you didn't see like chunks of meat flying around, I thought pretty much every like attack scene was pretty disgusting. Like when they quickly for like 5 minutes they just cut to 3 looters that are outside of the house looting a gas station. First you kind of see in the background, you see the girl being eaten on the boat, and then when the guy comes back and he gets dragged down underwater, and then his bloody corpse, or still, I think he's still alive even.
He's still living.
Starts slamming against the window, and it's just blood everywhere, and it's like it's so violent. Yeah, and gory may be the wrong word for it. It's very violent. Every attack was violent.
Yeah.
When Wayne, the highway patrol guy or cop or whatever it was police, yeah, when he gets ripped down into the basement or the crawl space, and once again you see him come up and he's like screaming at the top of his lungs, and it's just eating his torso. Super violent, and violence nowadays in movies doesn't really feel that disgusting like when you were a kid, or like violence
No.
was in before, because we're kind of numb to violence in movies. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of coming back that people are disgusted by violence because most movies nowadays are PG-13. But then we do have movies like this where it's just that kind of extra violent that makes it disgusting.
I think it's because they've made it worse, though. I mean, when I was a kid, violent movies were James Bond, where you just shoot a guy and you see a red splat on his shirt. That's about it.
Yeah.
That was violence. That was almost gory. Nowadays, that's every day, I guess. I mean, it's too mundane. So, at least in movies, it's too mundane in movies because
Yeah.
everyone gets shot. So now they have to do more. They have
Yeah.
to rip off legs and arms.
Yeah, but filmmakers don't want to do that because then they have to give the movie an R rating or maybe even an
Yeah.
NC-17, and then you can't make all the teenagers go see it. So
No.
I appreciate when they actually stick to their guns and make a really violent movie like this one. Because it is R-rated, and it should be R-rated. I mean, imagine if this was
Yeah.
PG-13 and you barely saw any blood. It would be so ineffective.
First of all, not make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how can you not see blood when gators rip off bodies in water? I mean, it's gonna be red. It's gonna be bloody.
Yeah.
And being in Florida, being a flood, so of course there's gonna be gators around because Florida. Yeah, the scene needed it. No, the movie needed it.
Yeah, and also
So it wouldn't make sense if they did PG.
Yeah, and also like this isn't a slam against the director or the screenwriters, but the violence is kind of the key draw in the movie. Like without the violence, it wouldn't be as good. I mean, there's still a good story and all, but it's a horror movie, and Alexander Aja knows this. That's why he makes it so violent, because that's what he's good at. So yeah, this is a movie that needed to be R-rated, and I'm very glad they did that, because without it, it would have been a much worse movie.
It would be nothing, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
the story is not really existent if you didn't have the gators. I mean, the entire story is based on the fact that they need to get away from the gators.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure if you call it a high concept movie, where I think that's what it's called, when the story is very driven by a situation that the characters need to get themselves out of, or something they have to figure out. I think that's where the concept is key. There's not really much to do. It's just them trying to get out of there. Like Spider-Man isn't a high concept movie. That's either with the what's the first guy called? Tobey Maguire movies were kind of character driven, while the new ones are kind of story driven. They're not They're not high concept movies.
No.
This was definitely a high concept movie. Kind of like Saw. Saw is a high concept movie. Or if you've seen the movie Cube.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't really remember.
People
Probably
stuck.
not
No, people stuck in a cube full of deadly traps, and they have to figure a way out. It's a high concept.
All right. Yeah.
movie.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah,
High concept. That makes sense.
And in that way, it really works, because that's what they have to do. They have to get from the crawl space to the roof. That's basically it. And then along the way, we have
Not getting killed by gators.
Oh yeah. And along the way, we have some character development between the father and the daughter, or the heroine, I suppose. And those were the parts that their character development, their relationship was definitely like a driving force for the movie as well.
Well, yeah.
But we only got just enough character motivation and development from both characters for us to care about them. We didn't get any more, and like that is the thing that I wouldn't have minded, like 10 more minutes of building the characters up a little bit. I mean, as it is, it's great. It's almost perfect.
Almost.
But if we just got a little bit more, we would have been drawn in much more than we were. But there's also something to say about a movie being an hour and 27 minutes and being able to cram in that much character stuff and still be a scary crocodile movie or alligator movie.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if I would change anything, it would be that. Just add 10 minutes, 5 minutes per character. That's it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I kind of like, though, that the main premise for them, like, for us rooting for them, was to give them a chance to rebuild the relationship. You didn't really need to know much about why they weren't that close anymore.
No, yeah,
You just needed them to survive so that they could try again, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. We get to know that they've been estranged, partly because the father being like obsessed with her career as a swimmer, and that's kind of what drove the family apart, and why she isn't.
She thinks that.
Yeah, she thinks that. Yeah, and that's why she doesn't perform as well as she could have or want to maybe in her swimming practice now, because she's still like a professional swimmer. On some
college level, I think.
College level, yeah, I think so. But we don't get a clear sense of her losing in the beginning. I mean, yeah, she does come in second, but we barely see that. There should have been like, it's very over explaining about her like having a short conversation with the coach right before she goes to meet her dad, or something, just to like hammer home the point of, say, you can do so much better, and she's like, yeah, I know, and then she like brushes it off and moves along.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Just to make it, just to make it a little too obvious, but still like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, we do get enough for us to understand what the characters are going through, and why the ending was. I thought the ending was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because it's just
nothing wrong with that.
No, they like and I think even I mentioned this in my review. Our dad is very particular with endings. He wants to like have everything wrapped up.
He wants to know what happens after they survive, they get married, they moved in together.
Yeah.
Like, until they die of natural causes, basically.
Yeah, so, and every time we have a discussion, I have a discussion with him about that. It's like, but then the movie's going to be an extra 2 hours long. And he's like, oh, I don't care. I just want to see, what they do after. It's like,
no, he just wants a cutscene that shows they've grown old.
Yeah, like a 2-minute montage. Yeah. But I think this ending would actually work, because before we do get to the actual ending on the roof where the helicopter comes and saves them, they have resolved all of their issues.
Yeah.
They have talked to each other. They've come to understand like what happened and why it happened. So when they do get to the roof, they're already on that road to recovery, to becoming a family again. And I think that would actually work for him, because it definitely worked for me.
A bit of an explanation.
Yeah, but we know, because when the helicopter comes, she like turns and she smiles at her dad. But kind of, because it's so perfect that she smiles at her dad.
Yeah.
Which she didn't do at all before that. Not even like when talking about him or thinking of memories when she was a kid. So it was that like, oh, they have reconciled. Yeah. They have saved themselves from the alligator, but they've also saved their relationship. Yeah. It's a little bit of layers there, a little bit. Yeah. Not
I
like.
did figure out my favorite part of the movie, though.
Okay.
They did not kill the dog.
Yeah, I was
my favorite part,
so ready. I even told you the second we saw that dog, I was like, yeah, they're gonna kill the dog. The dog's gonna die.
Yeah, you kept saying, oh, this is where he dies.
This is where the dog dies. And there was that scene, the scene in the hallway where the dog is swimming towards the father, and you see the alligator behind it. It was like, oh, here it comes, it's gonna grab it, but it didn't. I was like, what?
I was so happy with that, though.
Yeah, I was both.
The dog always dies. I hate.
Yeah, I was both relieved and a little disappointed, because I wanted to see that dog be eaten, but when it wasn't, I was like, oh yes, they saved the dog. Yeah. Very conflicting in my head. Yeah.
He wasn't even hurt, I think.
No.
Just tired from swimming, I guess.
Yeah. There is, though, that's a bit of a plot hole if when you get super nitpicky. When the downstairs, when the crawl space is flooded and they start flooding the first floor, where does the dog go? You just see it in that scene.
Well, because they float in through, when the boat crashes in through the window into the kitchen.
Yeah.
The dad somehow goes with the current or the flow. He ends up in the hallway somehow near the entrance of the house.
Yeah.
While the daughter remains in the kitchen.
Yeah.
The dog being smaller, not being able to do any sort of resistance towards the water, probably just ends up further back in the living room or something.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to really know that.
No. I mean,
she swims towards the sound of her
owner.
Dad. I don't know. Yeah, owner.
Yeah.
That's the word.
No, we're not supposed to say that because white people who owns dogs, they really just want to convert back to slavery.
Can we call it her dog daddy? I don't know.
Dog daddy? No. We're not going to call it a dog daddy. That's weird. It's owner. You own it. I'm sorry, you own a dog. Anyway, we're not going to talk about politics here. Yes, and I get it. I mean, they don't
taken too much time.
Exactly.
Swimming around, dodging gators she didn't know it was dodging.
Yes, so, and that's why I say only if you're super nitpicky. Because we get the dog out of the way so we can focus on what's important in the movie. But then just to scare the audience a little bit, we show it being hunted by an alligator. Now they saved it. That's perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying if you want to be super nitpicky, there is a plot.
No sugar. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, the sugar disappears for a while, and I say okay.
Yeah, it's okay. All good.
Was there anything you didn't like about the movie? Anything that was like, oh no, and it kind of broke the immersion for you?
I mean, some of the conversation was a bit forced. Didn't fit the situation.
No, right.
And but I mean that was the somewhat weak way of getting the characters.
Yeah.
Showing the characters.
Yeah.
Building them.
It did feel a little forced at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a bit awkward. I mean, you're in a situation where you probably should focus on other things, but you talk about, remember that time when you couldn't hold your breath and you practiced?
Yeah, that was a little too much, because literally in the next scene she had to swim underwater really long. It's like, yeah, we get it.
It was too forced.
Yeah, and that's where the script could have been a little better. But I mean, it was still
good.
It was still good. It's those kind of things that I like in movies, when they're kind of like, you can almost see the structure of the script. I kind of like that, because then you can kind of figure out that this is gonna happen in the end, and I don't have to be too surprised. That's how I like my blockbusters. That they follow like a strict structure. We've talked about that.
It was okay. It worked. Could have been a little bit better. Yeah. And I mean, that and like we said, the gators weren't perfectly made either. They kind of looked like video games or
sometimes
weird cartoons sometimes. And I mean, there were other small parts that maybe weren't really necessary, but it would have been a very short movie if you cut out everything that wasn't really necessary. You do need some fodder just to thicken it.
Oh, sure.
Make it a bit longer.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really get why the sister and the police had to have some sort of history. Not really relevant, but it gives it a bit of a dimension.
Yeah, I think that was just a way for that cop guy to be more involved in the movie. Like, if they didn't have a relation to each other, they're friends since when they were kids. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't have gone looking for her. If it was just a random police that stopped her, they wouldn't have known where to look for her. No, so he was kind of like a plant for them to, they weren't rescued by him, but to add another victim, because it made sense why he would go look for her, because he knows her, they're friends, and he's kind of into her sister, so he want to go look for her.
It kind of would have worked anyways, because he's the one who stops her before she goes there, and he says, "No, I can't let you go there, it's too dangerous." And then he yells after her when she goes off-road. So, I mean, he is aware of her going towards the danger zone, was going towards the flooding.
Yeah.
And I mean, cops being cops, they would have probably gone on that quick check either way. So
Yeah,
maybe it didn't really have to have some sort of relation to
but
make it extra.
since she doesn't live there, he wouldn't have known where she went because she only tells him that where
Okay,
she's
yeah,
going
maybe.
because they know each other.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
I mean, there's probably some way it could work, but this was an easy way to get the cop to go look for her later.
Yeah.
That's what I would
The
say.
looters also, I mean, they were necessary just to put the boat there, but I mean, the boat didn't really serve a purpose. It kind of failed anyway. So,
Yeah.
once again, just to give some sort of silver lining, make it a bit longer, then fuck it up, and they end up back where they started, basically.
Yeah. Maybe it could work in a way to show how dangerous the alligators really are. Because we've only seen them. Is that before or after the cop gets eaten? I don't remember. It's after, right? Okay, so we have seen them attack and kill one person, but
Two
two.
cops.
Oh
His
right,
friend who's
they. Oh
staying on the
yeah.
boat,
Yeah, he gets eaten
and then
outside the
checks,
house.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he checks the swing that seems to be
Stuck on an alligator.
pulling away, and it's
Yeah.
stuck on an alligator.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that even when there's like 5 gators attacking at once?
Oh yeah, they all gang up
So-
on him because one of them
yeah.
got him, and then the other one's like, "Bah," and go
Yeah,
get him.
and I mean that really shows how dangerous they are, and how many there are.
Yeah, and that shows that even if they get out of the house, there's a bunch of other alligators outside. So yeah, the looters scene.
And they could have technically used the police boat, I guess, instead of the looters boat.
Yeah, I don't know where that went, but
It floated away.
I do think that
Along with the car.
yeah, the looter scene is like to give a false sense of hope for for the audience, because it's like, other people, they can help them, but they all get killed because there's gators outside. And it's a way to add more victims to the movie, because otherwise there really were only like 3 people in the movie.
Yeah, one of them was by phone.
Yeah, exactly. So that they had to get some more bodies in the water, basically. And it's a cool scene, like we said.
It is.
The one guy being eaten and his like body being splashed against the window, super disgusting.
And not noticing when his girlfriend gets eaten.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
And then the baby brother going around getting food.
Yeah. And that's also the thing. They just gave those 3 characters a little bit of depth as characters. A little bit. We know
personality.
Yeah, we know like they're boyfriend girlfriend, and they brought his brother along, and they were looters. They were taking advantage. It was just a little thing, so they weren't just people being eaten. It's like, they're these people, which is a good thing. But I just got a quick tangent. Do you did that scene inside the convenience store, the gas station, did that make you think of another movie with animals eating people?
Yes. I don't remember the name of it, though. It's one of those shark movies.
Yes, we saw that like a couple of years ago. Bait.
That's the
Like
one. Yeah, I was sitting there going like...
I think it's Australian.
Oh, yeah, it's Australian. Yeah. And I wanted to tell you that I was thinking about it, but I couldn't think of the name.
No, yeah. That movie is so good.
It was basically that movie.
Yeah, but much better.
Much better, much shorter.
Yeah, because Bait. While the concept is really fun, it's a convenience store that's being overrun by great white sharks. I think it's great white sharks.
It's the entire town is flooded in that one as well, isn't it?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but it takes
tsunami or something.
A tsunami hits or a tidal wave hits the little seaside city or town, and we get to see like there's like 5 or 6 people being stuck in a convenience store. So there's sharks swimming around in the aisles and eating people. Stupid movie, but so much fun.
It's such a good concept. It could have just been made much better.
Unlike Crawl, though, far from a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the idea. Not the best execution.
Nah, exactly. Still good, though. So, if you want to see a stupid shark movie that isn't Sharknado, watch Bait. It's pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty good.
It's better than Sharknado.
Yeah. Much better than Sharknado. Anyway, Crawl.
I did have one more scene that I didn't really get the point of, but I guess it's just... an extra element of horror. It's the spiders. I
All
don't
right.
see the point of her getting spiders on her.
No, that was probably just to creep people out. Because
yeah.
getting a gaggle of spiders in your face. Yeah, even I, like,
Yeah, you winced
reacted. Yeah, just, I mean, spiders in your face.
Especially,
so
you couldn't see them, so I'm guessing they're the ones with the tiny bodies and the extra long legs.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and even like in the theater, was like, wait, what happened? Because it looked like she just got like dust on her face, and then you realize that the dust was moving. It was like, oh
yeah,
no,
she
it's
started
fucking
freaking out.
spiders! Yeah,
But she was in water. Should have been quicker to just drop into the water because they usually wash off them. Then,
yeah.
don't they?
I guess she was panicking. I don't know.
Yeah, well, probably would have done the same.
Yeah, that scene didn't have to be there, but I'm really glad it was there because that was a good like a creep out moment. And that's one thing I really liked about this. It was a modern horror movie. I guess you could call it a thriller, but I mean it is a horror movie. That didn't use that many jump scares. And there was, even when there were jump scares, they weren't like false. There wasn't like, oh my god, a bird flew at the window. No, it was, whenever there was a jump scare, there was an actual alligator trying to eat our hero. So it was good jump scares.
Yeah, it was a proper way of using jump scares. Not the same way everyone else does it. It's not the same boring jump scares every time. It's
when a chair falls danger. Or yeah, exactly, or a door slams. No, this was actual danger. I think
the only one that was somewhat you thought it was going to be danger, but then it wasn't, was when she reached for the walkie-talkie in the kitchen. Because there wasn't a gator in there with her. She was just scared there might be a gator in there.
All right.
There wasn't one. But I mean, she didn't know. There was a bunch of debris and murky waters. How was she supposed to know that there wasn't actually a gator in there?
Yeah, and
she was just assuming the worst, and she did right in doing that.
Yeah, and then that scene instead became very tense, and you were like, this movie was a nail biter. I was literally biting my nails at a couple of moments. So yeah, and I'm all for that. Like the movie was genuinely creepy because you knew every time they got out of that little safe zone behind the pipes, they were like at any second they could die. And even though we kind of know that they're not gonna die because they're the hero and the hero's dad, they're not gonna die. But it was so like well written and so well structured that it was like the immersion wasn't broken. You were still like, oh, look out, you might die, even though we still knew it wasn't gonna happen, but you're still in the back of your head. You were worried. And that's a sign of a well-made movie.
Yeah. I mean, there were some things that were kind of not ridiculous, but a bit incredible.
Okay.
Like her trapping the gator in the shower and jumping out of it.
Yes, that is one thing.
Bordering ridiculous, but a bit incredible, I guess. I mean,
yeah, because we do
she's
see
athletic and all that, but Jesus.
Yeah, we do see an alligator just swim and crash through a window by sheer force of its body. So why couldn't it get through a shower door?
Maybe that's tempered or harder. I don't know. I don't know how shower doors work.
No, I wasn't. But I mean, yeah, that was the only one where I went like,
but
come on.
It was a cool thing. They needed to add a bit of a cool action scene, I guess, to show that she's got the upper hand.
Yeah. Sure.
But then, I mean, seconds later, she gets slammed into the door by a bed frame and a gator. So when she's in her own room, I think it's her old room. I'm not sure.
So that was
I think it was a bit too convenient that the dad practically ended up by the stairs when they went through the kitchen window with the boat. I mean, he didn't seem to struggle that much. He was just at the stairs, and that's where he kept the flares, and that's where the dog came around the corner, and there were some conveniences. Yeah, definitely. But it's not that big of a house, I guess.
Yeah, and
you don't see a lot of the house, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's also a sign of a good script when those kind of like movie-like convenience doesn't bother you. Like it didn't bother me that he found the flares in the urn. It didn't bother me that he kind of ended up at the stairs because they kind of made that into a thing. Like, oh sure, he made it to the stairs, but he's still the guy that got his arm ripped off, so he's not safe just because he's on the stairs.
No.
That's a good way of countering the fact that he got lucky. Because
Yeah.
he didn't really get lucky; he got his arm bit off. Yeah. So the only thing that I really thought was too much of a convenience was the shower thing.
Mm.
Yeah, but other than that,
It's still cool.
Yeah, it was
It
still
looked
cool.
cool.
Oh, sure. But again, the other things didn't bother me.
No, not much. No, not much.
But
Did not notice the music at all though in the movie. Was there
no,
music?
there was music. There was some in the beginning.
Well, yeah.
A lot of the songs started with a low rumble, like thing, sort of to mimic the sound an alligator or a crocodile would make.
Yeah.
And they used that,
Yeah.
like when they introduced the monsters a couple of times. It was there in the beginning, and then there was like a big like happy sort of song in the end. But other than that, there was just a lot of like ambience in the background. I listened to the soundtrack and I use some of it in my review. But yeah, a lot of it is typical modern movie music where you kind of don't notice it.
Guess I didn't really need it. I
No.
mean, it was probably there, and I probably didn't notice it, but it probably did enhance the tension or the excitement of it, I guess, sort of.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't think that was a
Subconsciously.
bad thing. It was just, I mean, we talked about like the only times like I don't mind if music isn't heard. I mind if the music is bad and you can hear it because it ruins a movie.
If it bothers you,
Yeah, exactly. So like when we talked about Shazam in the first episode of Spoilercast, there you actually heard the music and they used the theme of Shazam effectively.
Yeah.
Then it works in a good way. But if the music is bad and they're trying to blast it all the time in every scene, then it ruins the movie. Here, yeah, you might not have heard it that much, but it's since it was so ambient, it certainly heightened the reactions of the movie.
Yeah.
And also a thing about the movie, about the music that was good was that they never used music stings to say this is where you're supposed to be scared.
No, I like
The movie,
that one.
yeah, the movie
there were
handled
no-
that by itself.
To get you jumping.
Yeah, they didn't need that because the nee was the alligator opening its mouth. Yeah.
Or flashing its eye at you.
Yeah. So in that way, I didn't mind that the music wasn't really heard that much.
No, it worked. It was a good movie. In all, it was a good movie. Like you said, almost perfect. It had small things that you probably could change, but you really didn't need to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's why it's almost perfect. There are some small things you could change, but it wouldn't do much of a difference.
No.
Something...
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm thinking, is there anything else to mention? But not really. I mean, acting was fine.
Yeah. I didn't recognize her. I hadn't seen her before. What's her
I've
name?
seen her.
Kaya Scodelario, I think you pronounce it.
I've seen her, but I can't figure out where.
Oh, you like the Maze Runner movies, right?
Oh, that's the one.
She plays Teresa in Maze Runner.
Right. Yeah.
And then
That's why I know her.
she was in the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie. She played Karina Smith. I don't remember who that was.
That's the daughter of David Jones.
Is it?
No, not David Jones. No, not David Jones. The daughter of the other pirate dude. Not
Salazar? The bad
No.
guy? Salazar?
No.
Barbosa!
Barbosa, that's the one.
Right,
The one with the
right.
bad guy in the first movie.
Oh, okay. So I have seen her, but yeah, she wasn't memorable in that movie. Well, I did honestly.
No, this
I
is
hated that
actually-
movie.
And I think this is the first time she's got a proper main role character that isn't overshadowed by a bunch of other main characters.
Yeah, I think so.
As far as I know, about what she's been in, at least.
You've probably seen her because you watched Skins, right? The British show.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
She
she's
played
the baby sister.
Yeah, Effie Stoneham.
Mm.
So she's been in a bunch of stuff you've seen. I've only seen her in one movie and I hated that movie. So, she was in Clash of the Titans, but I don't remember. Yeah, once again, a character I don't remember. Peshet. Who the hell is Peshet?
Don't
I don't know. Anyway, this was like her first big role, and she was good in it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Her big main character role, at least.
Yeah, and I really liked her in this. She was good. It wasn't the character piece, so she didn't have that much room to like shine as an actress. But what she had to work with, she did good.
Yeah.
There was one thing, because Barry Pepper, the guy who plays her dad, he's been making movies for a long time. I mean, especially like in the late '90s, early 2000s, he did like a bunch of movies that were like really like what do you call it?
Oh, he's in the Maze Runner movies as well.
Oh, he is? Oh no.
Yeah. Huh.
Vince, right?
So they've worked together before.
Yeah. Well, that might be why they ended up in this movie again.
Yeah, it could
like,
be.
Yeah, someone like said, "Hey, you should look at this guy or this girl." But yeah, she was in. He was in like some movies like Saving Private Ryan, Enemy of the State, The Green Mile, like a lot of movies around that time. We Were Soldiers, 25th Hour, big movies with like big name actors in it, and he had like a slightly bigger secondary role. But then it felt like he kind of disappeared for a while. I mean, you saw him in some things, but nothing that you really remember. So this was the first time I saw him in a while, and I just thought like, oh, he's a slightly older guy now. He's born in 1970, and he has to like he used to be in those big movies, and now he's in this, crawling around in a dirty crawl space for an entire movie. It's like, oh, it felt a little undeserved in a while in the trailer, but then his character is actually kind of good in the movie. So
yeah,
once again, the trailer didn't really, except for the fact that it was Alexandra Aja that made the movie, the trailer didn't sell me on the movie at all, unfortunately.
No, not really. It kind of, I mean, it looked somewhat exciting, but like we said, it got ruined, and a lot of times when the trailer ruins it, you don't really want to see the movie. You're like, okay, so it's gators. They're gonna get bitten.
Yeah. So I'm very glad we did go and see it though.
I am too.
Yeah.
Very
glad. And I'm I'm not gonna go see it again in a cinema. I rarely do that, but I'm definitely gonna pick this one up on Blu-ray when it comes out. Hopefully, there's gonna be some behind the scenes stuff because I want to see how they made the movie.
Yeah.
And then one last thing, unless you have something else to say.
No, not really. I mean, the only thing I try to explain it to my boyfriend afterwards, and the only way to try to make him understand what kind of movie it was to compare it to the what's it called, to the other shark movie, Shallows.
Yeah, it is
the same sort of suspense.
Yes,
and same sort of close space. Can't really run away.
Yeah,
gotta try to get help.
Kind of a high concept movies.
Yeah.
I guess high concept movie. Yeah, that was a movie that a lot of people didn't like. I really liked it.
I love Shallows.
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie.
Basically the same reaction as to Prawl.
Yeah, that one though.
That's maybe not the discussion for today, I guess.
No, I was just gonna say that one though has definitely some more problems with characters and stuff, and the fact that movie is PG-13. It's still pretty bloody, but it's not as violent as this one. Still.
No.
I thought it was a good shark movie.
Yeah.
The ending got a little ridiculous, but still a good shark movie.
A little.
Yeah. Anyway, Crawl.
Yeah.
So, I just wanna. No, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
What?
I was gonna mention that after my review, the writers actually followed me on Twitter. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. That's why I wasn't gonna mention it, but that's always fun.
Yeah.
And they liked my review, so be sure to go check out my review. It's obviously a good one since they liked it.
They liked the review of their own thing.
Yeah, and it was a positive review. They kind of probably had to like it, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No. I'm not. No, don't sell yourself short. It's a good review, and I mean, it's a good movie, so why not?
Yeah, and it's always fun to have at least a little bit of back and forth with people who made the movie.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but that's gonna have to do for this episode, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and we could already say what's gonna happen next week.
Yes, we can.
We're gonna do a pretty big one, I think, because we're gonna watch Hobbs and Shaw this Friday, and then we're gonna talk about Hobbs and Shaw, and I'm probably pretty sure we're gonna talk a lot about Fast and Furious as well.
We're probably not gonna be able to avoid that.
Yep. So big Fast and Furious episode next week. But yeah, until then, be sure to like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and give some constructive criticism in the comments below.
And let us know what you thought of the movie if you've seen it.
Oh, sure. You hopefully you have seen it if you're watching this spoiler cast. Otherwise, we did spoil the ending for you, so sorry.
It's in the title.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the title. But yeah, if you want to see more spoiler casts or trailer reactions or in-depth movie reviews, other live streams or podcasts that we make, hit the subscribe button and the little bell thing. And we'll see you every day really. I put new stuff out every day now, so
I'll see you in a week.
Yeah, but we'll see you in the next spoiler cast in another week. So until then, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.